Hey, it's Ed here. Welcome to another episode of Lessons from My Mentor. Today I have both a mentor and mentee. Welcome to Lessons from My Mentor, Sakshika Dingra.
Hey, hi everybody. It's so great to be here. Finally, I am usually on the other side, and today I'm on the video myself.
Yeah, so cool to have you. So Sakshika and I are collaborating on our second book.
That's right.
We co-edited a book on Voice of Innovation, Payer, which actually comes out July of this year, like the month we're in as we're recording. And then the book that we just wrapped up here in Jacksonville with some other co-editors from Cleveland Clinic is Voice of Innovation.
The AI edition.
Yes, it's going to be so awesome. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is mentoring. And so Sakshika is going to help me with this particular lesson. I actually learned this from Sakshika. Sakshika was sharing this with me, and I thought, hey, since we're together, let's do this together. So Sakshika, you talked to me about leadership threat. So let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, so one of the things that we don't think about is being a threat as leaders. But you really are, because of the title that you're carrying. So instead of just not be conscious about it, I want everybody to think about how you can make an effort to remove the fear that people may already have, right? Instead of widening or expanding it.
Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant concept, and it's something when you were sharing that with me, I thought about when I was a kid. I was like 17 years old. I got a new car. Of course, I spent more money on the radio. So it was actually a really old car. It was a Chevy Vega. I bought it for $350. And it was a piece of junk, but I bought a stereo that cost at least $350, and I didn't know how to put it in. A good buddy of mine lived on the Air Force Base nearby. He's like, hey, my dad can help us. And so, here I am with this Colonel, which didn't mean anything to me at the time. And so I was like, okay, this cool dad helping us install my radio. And then when I got back from the Army, so I went to basic training right after that, got back from the Army, where they instilled the fear of God in me for anyone that is like, even with like a corporal or a sergeant, let alone a full bird colonel. And then, so when I saw him again, I was all scared, and I was like, sir, this, sir, that, and I was like so intimidated, and I could never be myself again. And that's what it must be like, right?
Exactly.
When we see an executive, CEO, or a VP, or depending if we're an analyst, it might be a manager or director, we immediately, might feel insecure.
Yeah, so just, again, it's really important to keep that in mind, because your team, just one of the things that you naturally do, like the barometer for them to think how capable am I or how good am I, it comes from what your leader thinks about you.
Yeah.
It's just a natural arrangement, given that you're their leader, what kind of opportunities you're going to give to them, right? And it's going to shape their confidence for the rest of their lives, like even when you're not their leader. So just like, it's a small thing, but it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
So think about it, handle it with care, and do this thing for all your leaders so they can operate at the top of their license.
Yeah.
Don't be a threat.
Yeah, that's huge, because you can inadvertently keep someone down who's got great potential, but because natural insecurity and stuff like that, they look at you and are like aspire to be like you and to grow and mature and become a better leader and move on in the organization. But they'll be like, I could never be like that woman or that man. Because wow, so I think some of the other things we talked about that you could do as a leader is to really be authentic. Like, admit that you failed, because otherwise you come across as this perfect person, right? Your resume looks perfect, your LinkedIn is perfect, and people are like, oh, I could never be like that. But the truth is, none of us are perfect. But if you don't intentionally share that with those that you're leading, then you're doing them a disservice.
Yeah, perfection is not reachable.
Yeah.
So be accessible, be human, talk about your failures much more than what you talk about, like could be your education, could be like all the great things that you did, because none of us did them all the time or every single day.
That's why I also, Sakshika, I think it's really important that leaders spend time with their teams and people, not just in meetings. That's not what I'm talking about when I say spend time, but it's like get outside together. I've done crazy things. I know you've done crazy things as well, whether it's kayaking or doing weekend retreats or weekday retreats, whatever it is, you need to spend time with your people, and that way they get to know your true self.
Yeah. The one funny example that the person who shared this concept with me gave me is like the response that a lot of people have when they look at their leader or when they think about going to a meeting with their leader is, imagine you're hiking and you saw a bear.
Yeah.
Do you really think that's that's the best way to show up? No. So if you don't take the bear out of the situation, right, and you don't take the threat out of this arrangement that you have with your leaders, right, with your associates, then they're never going to be able to show up and show their true potential. So it's really important.
Yeah, Sakshika, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being my reverse mentor.
Of course, and I want to say, I cannot not finish this by not saying this. You're the person who played that role for me, so I'd be forever grateful, not just for that one opportunity, but just the doors that you opened for me to realize my own potential.
Well,
so thank you.
The pleasure and honor is mine, and like I always say, other people have done it for me and keep doing it for me, and so we owe it to one another. And you're just an amazing person, and you and your husband and my wife and I, we've had a terrific time with you here as we go through this book writing process. So thanks again, Sakshika.
Awesome.
Hey, that wraps up another episode of Lessons from My Mentor. Thanks for watching.